Hey guys, PB here from the Home Automation Project. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create an advanced automation in Home Assistant, specifically using calendar-based events in case you want to set up some kind of schedule automation. I'm going to use an example of my garbage bin collection schedule. There's going to be a lot of pro tips along the way, such as setting up your own custom sensors in Home Assistant, setting up your custom cards, as well as in the end, I'm going to leave you a cool tip on how you can make the look and feel of your cards better by using your own custom images. So do stick around till the end. Let's get started. Hey guys, in this automation, I'm going to show you how to set up a garbage bin collection reminder based on the days in the week when you have a green garbage bin collection versus a recycle bin collection. This will also serve as a template for you to set up reminders for any such recurring events. It doesn't have to be the garbage collection, and the template that I'm going to show you can be used for other such reminders as well. So let's get started. The steps that we are going to go through for this automation is to first set up calendar events for generating the event notifications, and then setting up some native custom sensors to capture those events. And then we are going to use the sensor in the automation to send notification, and as well as any other actions that we would like to do, such as switch on a light on a particular time. And finally, we are going to set up a custom card on the dashboard to view when the event is going to happen next. First step is to go to settings and then go to your devices and services, and then you need to add the integration, search for calendar, and you will see this integration called local calendar. So click on that, and then you can give a name to this. In my case, I will call it the green bin collection. Sorry, if I can type collection calendar, and hit submit and finish. So you see there's this local calendar, and there will be this one entity which is calendar.greenbincollection calendar. Let's add a second one. So go to local calendar, add entry, and choose the collection name as recycle bin collection calendar, and then hit submit. Now we got these calendars. Let's go and set up the event in the calendar. So on the left you will see this entry for calendar. Click on this, and here you see the green bin versus the recycle bin as the two calendars. And my next green bin collection is on the 4th. So click on add event, and let's say green bin collection as the event name, if I can type properly. And then the start date is going to be on the 4th, which is the coming Thursday, and I want to be reminded on that day between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. and I want it to be repeated weekly, and the interval is twice. So in my case, every 2 weeks we have the green bin collection, and every 2 weeks we have the recycle bin collection on Thursdays. So that's what I'm setting it here, and let's hit add event. So you'll see this event has made an entry, and double check that it is a recurring event. Yep, that's number 1. And the second one we'll do is the recycle bin collection, and I'll add the event here. So remember to select the calendar here in the drop down. It reverts to the first calendar by default. So select the recycle bin collection, and I'll put recycle bin collection here, and this one will start from the week after, so from the 11th in my case, and the same just say remind me within 7 to 10 p.m. and repeat it weekly and every 2 weeks on Thursday. That's it. And add event, again go and double check that the event is there. So you can see, now select both the calendars, so you can see both the set of events have been set up as a recurring event. Next, let's go and build the sensors so that we can use that in automation. For the next step, what we need to do is we need to do a little bit of advanced configuration, and for that I'll need something on the panel here, which is called a Visual Studio Code. You can do this step with the file editor as well. However, I prefer to use a Visual Studio Code interface because it makes it way easier to help edit the files. For that, let's go and install the add-on. So if you go to settings, add-ons, and search for, go to the add-on store and look for Visual Studio, and here this is the one. So let's install this first and wait for the installation to get complete. Okay, so now that the add-on has installed, let's take these boxes and let's hit start. Okay, so the server has started, and as you can see there's a shortcut on the left menu. So let's hit that. It should take you to the backend of Home Assistant and should ideally show you the full configuration files that are associated with the Home Assistant installation, as you can see on this left panel. On this first page, generally it's a good idea to, if you're new to Core Server, might be a good idea to go through these. However, I'm just going to skip this section, and there will be a prompt coming up for the saying, do you trust authors of the files, and I'll say yes, and then I'm going to mark this as done. Right, so on the left there are some directories, and within the directories there are some files. This automation, we need to create our own custom template sensors, and generally what I tend to do is I create a folder called sensors, and under that I create a file called template sensors, just to keep it clean, nice and easy. So let's go and create a folder. This is the button or the icon for creating a new folder. Just click on that. Let's call it my sensors, and under this I'm going to create a file, YAML file. So this is the new file icon. Let's hit that, and let's call it my template sensors.yaml. Right, and now the next thing that we need to do is to include this file in the path of our configuration file. So to do that, there's this configuration.yml, which is created by Home Assistant by default, and there are certain configurations it also creates by default, as you can see inside this. Do not remove any of this or any of the contents of the file. Then I will go to the bottom of the file and hit enter, and then paste this line. It says template include sensors / my template sensors.yaml, and then it should be auto saved, but I tend to use in my Mac I use Command and S to ensure that my changes have been saved. Next, we need to go to the my template sensors.yaml and create two sensors, one for storing the event details of the recycle bin collection, and the second one for storing the event details of the green bin collection. So let's do that. Okay, so now I've pasted the code here, which will create two sensors for me. The first sensor that I want to create is the green bin collection sensor. For that I have used this calendar.bin collection green. Okay, so now I've pasted the code here. So what I've done here is I've created two custom sensors. The first sensor, the unique ID I've given as bin collection green, and the name I've given as bin collection green. This is the one which is triggered based on the event from the calendar green bin collection calendar. Similarly, I've created another one for the recycle and given the ID, I passed the ID of the calendar here. In case if you have named it differently, your ID could be different. The best way to ensure that you put in the correct entity IDs here is you can go to settings, then go to devices and services, go to this entities, click on the entity that you want to put, and then go to the settings, and then you can use the copy button from here to copy paste the entity ID into that space. So now let's go back to the code and let's explain what is happening here. So what we are saying is that we are picking the current time and the current date, and then we are picking the start time on the calendar for the next green bin collection event. Let's say it's the 4th, and then we are taking a delta of when the event is happening from midnight, and then we're calculating the days. If the difference of days is 0, that means the event is happening today, So hence we return a value of today, and if it is tomorrow, the difference is of 1, then the event is happening tomorrow. Otherwise we just say in X days, so it can say something like in 4 days or in 10 days. Exact same logic we have applied here. I'll leave a link in the description which will have all the exact script that I'm writing here, so you can copy it from there and modify it as you want. I understand this is a bit of an advanced configuration, but don't worry, you can just copy paste this, and you can play around with the script to understand how it works. And I'm planning a tutorial in the future around this templating and scripts that YAML scripts that you need to use in Home Assistant. However, that is a kind of an advanced topic, so I will probably make a completely separate video series around that. And the top line in this file needs to be the sensor line, and then you need to indent the rest of the lines by 2 tabs. So you have to be very careful when you're editing an YAML file that the indentation of the every level of data needs to be aligned properly. As you can see, the Visual Studio Code editor is good in that way because it clearly shows the indentation so that you can make sure that it's aligned. One thing, say when you make changes to the configuration file, what you need to do is to reload the configuration of the Home Assistant. So to do that, you need to go to Developer Tools and then go to this first tab, which is YAML, and you can hit check configuration. So if everything is fine, it should come up with this message. And also need to reload the YAML configuration file so that it finds the sensors correctly. For that, click on this top option and a green tick. It looks good. That means everything is fine. So next we need to go and set up the automation based on these sensors. So go to settings, go to automations and scenes, then hit create automation and create new automation. Now as a trigger, you could use the calendar event itself as trigger. So you can search for calendar, and then you can search for these events, the bin collection events, and you can use that. However, the way I would like to set this up is by using a specific time of the day when the collection is due. So to do that, let's first delete this event, and let's set the trigger as a specific time. So select time, and let's say 8 a.m. and let's skip this condition section for now and go to the action. So action, I want to notify my mobile. So I want to notify my mobile, so send a notification via mobile app. Choose this option. I'm assuming here that you have already installed Home Assistant in your mobile device, which I have shown how to do it in one of my previous videos when I was doing affiliate notification. You can check that out if you're not sure how to do it, but it's pretty simple. You need to download the Home Assistant app and set it up to receive pop-up notifications. So here we'll put the message as green bin collection today, and let's probably give it a title, bin reminder. And the last bit that we need to do is we need to put a condition here which checks for the state of the green bin sensor that the state is today before it triggers the automation. To do that, we'll need to switch to the YAML mode, and I need to add this condition block here to trigger the automation only when the specific condition is met. For that, I'm going to replace this block, this piece of code, which checks for the state of the sensor, and it should be today. And let's hit save, and let's give it a name. I'm going to call it green bin reminder, and hit save. Now we need to do the exact same thing for the recycle bin. So I'm just going to simply copy this and create a duplicate. So come back to this notification, come back to the automation homepage and use the 3 dots to duplicate, and I'm going to go to the YAML and paste the code from the other notification and just change the text wherever it says green, and I'm going to use the recycle sensor. For that, you can just hit a dot after the sensor and type to search, and that should give you this sensor name, and let's call it recycle bin collection today, and that's it. Hit save and renew. So now you should have two reminders, one for the green bin and one for the recycle bin. One thing I forgot to mention here, that as part of these notification reminders, you can add more actions here. Obviously, for example, you can choose to switch on a light as well, or you can set up a separate notification using the trigger as the event. So that's how I like to do it. So in the morning at 8 a.m. I'll receive a notification on mobile about the bin collection of that day, and when the calendar event happens around 7 p.m. I have set up a separate automation for receiving a notification which switches on a light on top of my fridge, so that gives me a visual reminder as well to put the garbage bin out. So you can do that as well. So next step is to put this reminder on the dashboard. So for that, there are a few ways you can do it. There's a HACS component called garbage collection card. You can configure that. However, I find it's much easier for me to just set up a list of entities as a card. So for that, what we need to do is, let's go to the dashboard and click on edit and then add card and select form manual, select this manual option and then paste this piece of code, and you can paste this code here. As you can see, this is showing on the right side how the card will look like: dry waste collection in 11 days and renewable waste collection in 4 days. So if you want to beautify this card, we could add a color to these icons, or we could add an image, two distinct images for the two types of bins. Those are a bit more advanced setup. I'll probably cover that as part of my more advanced automations in future. However, for the purpose of this automation, I think this should suffice. So hit save and then hit done. If you want to replace these icons with images, you can do that. I will show you the steps to do it. It's a bit more involved process. However, it's up to you if you want to do that. There are a few ways you can do it. I would say the best way is you use this file editor option, and you can go here and click on this browse file system. Under this, scroll down and locate the folder, which is a system folder by default, which says www. So what I like to do is I like to create a folder under this called my images. Let's create a folder, my images, and click OK. Now let's go to this folder and I'll upload a couple of images. So once you got that here, you can verify that the files are correctly there by typing the URL of you can replace the path here by local / the folder name, the subfolder name that I given /green.png, and hit enter. If it shows the icon, that means your upload has successfully happened. Next step would be to go to Studio, your Visual Studio Code, and you need to create a file called customize.yaml. I already created it, but you can use this plus icon to create this customize.yaml file, and then you need to paste this line of code here, which is the name of the sensor that you're trying to customize. In this case, it is bin collection green and bin collection recycle : and under that you need to put the attribute entity underscore picture : and then the path to the image, which is /local / my images. So the equivalent of /local is the www folder that you saw. So everything under that folder is referred to in the Home Assistant also by default as /local. Don't forget the leading slash. And then after that, any if you have the subfolder like I did for my images, you can use that. If you directly put the image, then you can choose to not have this in the path, or you can have more subfolders if you want, and whatever subfolders you put, it needs to come with a slash in the path. Once you have done this, next you need to go to configuration.yaml and here you need to paste this line. Here I generally tend to put it at the top under the default config, but you can choose to put it anywhere in the file. So you should say home assistant colon, and under that customize, then include the path of customize.yaml. As you can see, I put it at the root folder under config, so I don't need to prefix it with anything, and I can just say customize.yaml. Then hit save, and then go to developer tools and click on all YAML configuration to reload the configuration. This should work like you should. The configuration should now be updated. Last step would be to go to your dashboard and edit this. Go to the code editor and just remove this icon, and as you can see, it has picked up the image. So the way it works is icon takes precedence over image. So I'm just going to remove the lines with two icons and hit save. As you can see, the images have been picked up, and let's hit done. There you go. You have got a nice, beautiful image for each of these line items here. And with that, we come to the end of this automation. So that will be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my webpage where you can go and download the code and the automations that I showed in this video. And if you find this video interesting, do check out my other videos on the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.